Hello and welcome to Laststandgamers Survival Secrets, the series addressing your problems and questions on DayZ. Today I'll be covering two factors. Number one, setting up a campsite, and number two, how to avoid being kidnapped. We're going to start with how to avoid being kidnapped. Obviously, two rules of common sense apply. Never get in a vehicle with a stranger, and secondly, never accept gifts from a stranger. Of course, in DayZ, I know there's a few of you who enjoy a bit of roleplay and enjoy treating it like if you're in that situation and you were at gunpoint, what would happen? So how do we get out of this sort of situation? If you're stupid enough to get in the situation, either on the beach because you're a new player, or outside because you've been offered a new weapon or equipment, you might end up here like Jimmy. Jimmy got kidnapped a few weeks ago, and they've not seen him since. But how can you actually survive this sort of situation? Well, the first factor is a little bit of a tip, and if you don't know how to access your gear while you're in a vehicle, this is probably going to come quite in handy. First of all, you need to go to your map, or if you've not got a map, it'll still work anyway. Go to units, select yourself, click gear, and see what's in the vehicle. There could be a grenade, there could be a weapon that could help you. And secondly, always try to position yourself behind the driver so he can't see what you're equipping or what you're doing. Obviously he was in the boot there. Wait then until he comes around a corner or he slows down. Jump out and run off as soon as possible. Obviously he will realise that you've escaped, and in 9 out of 10 times you will end up being dead at the side of the road. But let's try to escape, try to kill him and try to get out there. Obviously it's a little bit harder taking down a few people, but try your best, equip your weapons, see if there's grenades, anything that can help you in there. Obviously we're moving on to campsites now. Campsites have been really changing over the last few weeks. People have been trying new tactics to hide the loot. This is a tactic that I realised last week was happening quite a lot. This is a small town of Mikoshenko. Basically, what I've seen players doing, there's not many loot spots in this town for actually gathering loot, so people avoid it completely so they just don't run into the zombies. So people start hiding the loot inside there. Another problem is people tend to cluster all the loot together in one campsite and all the vehicles, so if it's hit, they lose everything. Here's a little bit of a tactic that I've been developing. Basically, it works on a 5-point system. I'll bring up the map in a second so you can actually understand how it works. Basically, the idea is that you have 5 points that you use as reference. 4 of the campsites on the perimeter are only kept with light loot and backup points, where the centre campsite is actually where your whole loot is, and then there's a separate point for a car park. You never want to group your cars and your loot together, because if someone hits it, they find it all, and that's your day ruined. So think about it. Here's a 5-point system like I'm showing and talking about before. Moving on from this, obviously this series is influenced by you, and if you want to see the thing in the next episode go down, or you want to know a certain tactic or tip, well, write it down in the comments, and if it gets voted to the top, I'll address the tip and try my best to figure out some sort of solution for you guys. Obviously keep it sensible, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. And here's a little quick clip of somebody drilling a guy who had taken his tyre out on the beach. So moving on from that, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time, and make sure you check out some of the other videos.